And like, so I just made a video about vaccines, of vaccines people, and that's what I'm gonna start saying because that's who I defend as the people, vaccines people. And so I'm gonna call myself a flower princess, even though that makes no sense, but it is what it is. It's better than because I've leveled up my game, kind of thing. It's better than being a spider princess because I'm not a spider princess. I'm a vaccines people. Vaccine, yeah, and I'm not a princess whatsoever. Um, so, the thing is, so we see have like the bike path that's going on in town, and that's like people who come in and change out your battery, kind of thing like that, if that makes any sense. And I'm just like, I can change my battery out at the doctor. I don't need somebody come in and change battery for me, But the thing is, if you let people come in and change your battery, it's gonna keep on growing. Like, it's gonna, like, oh, you're letting me in to touch you to get a different battery. Now I can go in and take stuff away from you or add some stuff, and and it just keeps on becoming. That's not what the bike path does, there's other organizations in town that feed off of the bike path, and then um I get into home sharing, and that's like one reason why I'm really scared of moving and going into living in different apartments is because in the lease it can say that people are allowed to come in and take stuff from you or add stuff from you, or kick you out when your lease is not over, whenever they want and stuff like that. That is like a big huge phobia. I call it NATO. I do not want to live under the NATO policies or stuff like that. But um but the thing is, so like that's why I sleep with shoes in front of my door, is because I have law, and so like if the shoes get moved, I can make a police report. And one nice thing is somebody made a police report to protect me a few months ago, and I shout out to her, because we're all fighting this together. But the thing is, like with the vaccine people, some people are like, it's a way to break you down. It's a way to, because the United States is seriously under attack. So it is a way for people like, oh, okay, you are a vaccine person. There's really bad people there, and those are still, it can still be like the vaccine people, but they could be like the unvaccinated people, but you know what I mean. And so you have to like know if they're just a bad person hiding within the vaccine community, But then there's people out there that is like, oh, maybe I do want to sleep with my door open to let people in to see if I can like get through the vaccines, because like if they come in and try to kill me and I wake up and I'm totally fine, then by all means. But it's the same thing as getting your battery replaced. It has nothing to relate to one another, and that's why I struggle. Is like it's how countries take over, or how another organization wins, is by removing things little by little without you realizing it or you comprehending it, but you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's not that big of a deal until it's too late, And so, like, my thing is, um, the bike path and being vaccinated has nothing to do with one another. But at the same time, if you think about it, they're both kind of going the same direction, which means health sharing, which means we're gonna all be communists one day, and we're all not gonna understand what technology is. And that's why I'm a pro advocate for Dexter's to open up, because if you are one of those vaccines people, how are you supposed to protect yourself if you don't have those resources, those tools to do it? I tell people to handcuff themselves. I went to a fantasy store and bought leather cuffs for me because, COVID did happen, and I sometimes you just really have to handcuff yourself and let it out. Like, let go over that flu. We can call it a flu. That's what Tracy has called it in the past. Is sometimes people get sick. They're not really sick at all. But when you leave your house or your apartment, sometimes you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about, oh yeah, I cuffed myself to my bedstand for quite a few hours this morning because I'm just like freaking out because I don't want to go around, making people bloody. you know I don't want to go in the depth of that, and so other people don't want to, and that's why I struggle because, like, if you live someplace, you should feel safe to do that. You shouldn't feel like, okay, I did that. Now I have to go outside, go out of my apartment or my house and stuff, and justify why I did that all day long. It's not right, and that's why I want to walk around crying all the time. Is because I don't want to do that, and then go outside and tell people, like, yeah. Then you're like, oh, you handcuffed yourself. It was like, yes, I did. I really, really did. Let's have it, and it's just black now, and I'm just like, my thing is, it's just a headache. No, I must have COVID, even though I really don't, But I'm not gonna like go to another person and it's like, yeah, I spent like the last 5 to 30 minutes talking about how I handcuffed myself to the bed frame because I was dealing with my vaccines. I don't want to say that. I'm just gonna walk up to them and it's like, yeah, now I have a migraine. And they're like, oh, Tracy, why do you have a migraine? And I was like, I must be sick. Am I sick? No. I just lack privacy.